We're going to be starting with this British-Nigerian actor and producer who's made waves on stage and on screen on both sides of the Atlantic. I'm talking about Jimmy Akingbola, who first rose to prominence in the UK with standout roles in shows like Holby City and the BAFTA-winning comedy Rev. But more recently, Jimmy has earned international recognition for his portrayal of Joffrey in the hit drama Bel Air and for powerful turns in such series as The Tower. Now, roles that have, of course, underlined his range from drama to sharp-pitch, perfect comedy. He's also an accomplished stage actor with an extensive theatre background, and he's adding producing and storytelling to a career that keeps expanding. We're delighted to welcome him to Arise 360 today to talk about his latest projects and what it means to be a global Nigerian voice in film and television. Welcome to the show.
Kenna, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, and that's an intro. I'm I'm humble.
Yeah.
But this is like my first trip to being back in Nigeria. I was born in the UK, and I came once before, but it was a very short trip for a wedding. Mm-hmm. But this trip is all about, for me, reconnecting, you know, and wanting to return to my homeland and see how I can collaborate with my fellow creative artists out here, but also learn more about my family, heritage, and our history, and I'm loving it. Every day is a different, special day here in Lagos.
That's great. Where are you from in Nigeria?
My family are from Oregon.
Oregon? That's in Ikeja.
Oregon, Ikeja.
Yeah.
That's where I live.
Yeah. Oh, seriously?
Honestly,
seriously,
That's where
that's your place, your village, your hometown.
Yes, from my dad's side. From my dad's side, you know? Yeah. So, and just learning about that, I experienced is it Egungun? Because my Yoruba
festival?
we have festival, I was giving my Oriki. I'm so there's a lot that I'm processing, you know what I mean? I'm trying to practice my Yoruba as well, but I feel like it's a great time because I've just wrapped on Bel Air. We did 4 seasons, and playing the iconic role of Jeffrey has been a dream, you know? And I'm glad that they were showing it in Nigeria. It's quite funny, a lot of people think because Jeffrey is a Jamaican in the show, they're like, is Jimmy, is he really Nigerian? Yeah, they think I'm Jamaican rather than Nigerian. So, but I'm a big believer in being a shapeshifter with the roles that I play and tell important stories, which is what the producing side of me is about.
I mean, playing Joffrey in Bel Air, I mean, he was a fan favorite, I must say, a butler. I mean, how was it for you depicting that particular role? I mean, I feel like big shoes to fill.
No, thank you. Again, when I got the role, me and the creator, Morgan Cooper, he did the online viral sizzle trailer that went viral, and Will Smith saw it and said, we should make this a TV show. So when we spoke, we talked about we didn't want to do black help again, you know? We didn't want to do the butler,
Also 90s.
It's so 90s, and we're in 2022 now, you know? So we talked about 2 men being equals and brothers, and and we said, Jeffrey's more of a fixer. You know, he loves the family just like the original, but if you need to get stuff done, he's your guy. But also, we wanted to show brotherhood and also just explore the nuance that we're not a monolith, so all the different sides of us as people.
Yeah, so talk to me more about that. And, obviously, I know you're in Bel Air, but it was, as you were talking, you mentioned Will Smith, who is obviously one of the biggest movie stars, and that was where his fame came from.
You're right.
His time. What was that experience like? Was he heavily involved? How much, I guess advice did you get from him? And what was it like even meeting such an icon?
Well, first of all, most of us, we all grew up watching the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, and as me wanting to be an actor, I looked up to him. I went to be him in some way. So when I finally met him, it was a dream come true, but it was what everybody says. He was so humble and so open, and the advice he gave us was this moment right now. He said, you're creating history, and he said, I was so much in the zone of what's next, that I didn't take advantage of the moment as much as I should have been. And yet, he did a lot. He was always releasing an album each season of Fresh Prince. So he just told us to do that thing that we're thinking about now, take advantage of this very important and hot period that we're in. And he's just been, all of the original cast have just been so happy with our portrays of all our characters. And it's nice to be able to bring them back. I had the original Jeffrey in season 3, so that was a joy. And I suppose we're in a place right now, I think our show was a show on its own, because we wasn't doing the gang stuff, you know what I mean? It was about family, and the nuanced family doesn't have to be blood, and about men being vulnerable as well, seeing black men being vulnerable. You don't normally see that. And so it was a show made with excellence, and it was very intentional in terms of occupying a space that is lacking.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me what the competitions are out there, like for you, like in Hollywood, like being a British Nigerian, and of course being a black man, making a mark in the business. How has it been like? What are the challenges you had to actually endure or go through to be where you are today?
That's a good question. I think first my challenges with the UK was that it's small, and sometimes the industry just creates this thing of one in, one out. Like David Oyelowo, he talks about it a lot. He goes, he didn't want to have to move to the US and move his family out there, but he wanted to move to a place where he felt like he could have the career his talent deserves. And I saw that a few years ahead of me, and then I felt like I hit a glass ceiling. I was like, I need to do the same. Wow. And I realized that I need to be a global actor, international actor, rather than just a UK, British Nigerian actor. And so it was really tough, and it takes sacrifice, right? Because you leave your family. America is similar, but it's different. It's still different. Culture is different. So I had to start again and be humble. I didn't book a job and get flown over, like some of my other friends, you know what I mean? Like John Boyega or, Danson Aegis and stuff like that. So I had to be humble and go there and start again and learn the industry. You go in there sometimes as a Brit, sometimes as an American, sometimes as a Nigerian. But what I love is that iron sharpens iron, right? And I'm very competitive with myself. I feel like LA is like the Champions League of acting.
Exactly,
You want to wake up and go, I gave it a try and I competed. And I feel like Bel Air represents me betting on myself. So when I speak to younger actors out there, I'm like, dare to dream. Do the work, train, study, you know what I mean? Watch all the theater and film and TV you can, but dare to dream. Your circumstances, the way you start, doesn't just have to be the final destination. And so I'm in the middle of that journey.
Okay. Yeah, so let's circle back, to the fact that you're also a producer. I said that in my intro. Can you tell us more about the kind of stories that you're interested in bringing to life? I know you are in Nigeria, of course, filming a documentary on your heritage and your roots. Talk to me a bit more about that.
Yeah, I feel like the stories I want to tell are almost like, the diaspora in some ways, you know what I mean? Like being a British-born Nigerian, and I did my first documentary, was called Handle with Care, and it was about my journey through foster care in the UK. And back in the day, there was a lot of Nigerians that were involved in the farming and adoption, and there was some not great situations and cases, but I wanted to do a documentary that inspired that next generation. So if you had been through care, if society's saying, oh, you're not gonna be successful in anything, you're gonna maybe be on drugs, go to prison, not have a family, I was like, yes, I get the stats do point to that, but that's not the full picture. So I wanted my documentary to inspire anyone that's been in the foster system or the adoption system, but also inspire families to adopt and foster, because there's so many children out there that need families, especially young black kids, and especially a lot of African and Nigerian kids. And so I made that documentary because there's so many people that have someone that they know in our culture that's been through that system. And I was like, that story has not really been told in the right way. And then I think I also just want to tell stories where we're not doing our tropes, our stereotypes, you know what I mean? And we're pushing I want to push boundaries within our communities to have sort of difficult conversations, but also bring us together. Yeah. Sometimes I think it's the United Africa approach, you know what I mean?
But
in the way that I'm thinking.
What has that experience been like? Because even while we're off air, you talked to me about the fact that you've been to Oyo State.
Yes.
You went so talk to me a bit more about that. I'm sure jollof rice is not something you are. It's not something new to you.
No, it's not something.
But jollof rice from the source.
It's
from the Lagos sauce.
Listen, I got some ogusi with goat meat when I was in Oyo, and it was so good.
Oh my
gosh. It's different tasting it here. So when I go back to London, I'm gonna be disappointed in LA. But the taste was so good.
Yeah.
But going to Oyo was great because I got to meet one of our big heroes, Femi Adebayo.
Yeah.
He was filming a film out there, and then I got to meet Toby Bakare and Bimbo Ademoye. Yeah. So I'm that's some heavyweights.
People, yeah.
That's some heavyweights. And then what was great that we was having this conversation is like, how do we collaborate? You know what I mean? Like, why is everybody in their place? I feel like my dream is to create a TV show or a movie where you have that cast, but then you do have someone like myself, someone like David Oyelowo or Chiwetel. Do you know what I mean? Where you've got all the Nigerians, because we're everywhere, we're global. Yeah. You bump into Nigerian in Iceland, Germany, Brazil. But what does that look like when we bring all that talent together in like one movie or one theater production or one TV show? So we were having those conversations. And I think this journey for me is about reconnecting with Nigeria and making it consistent. I don't want this to be a one-off or just dip in. Now I want to come here repeatedly. Do you know what I mean? And I found new family. I was in touch with a lot of cousins, but when I went to Oregon, we had there was a whole parade for me.
I can imagine.
And so it was quite overwhelming. I'm just like, wow, look at this. But as I'm still processing, I'm like, I feel like I'm home. Like,
And you said some before you comes in. I mean, you said you want to be coming back regularly.
Yes.
So that I can suggest some things that you can do to come back regularly. Okay. For example, if you pay dowry in Nigeria, for example, if you have a Nigerian bride, that will be bringing you back home.
Are you trying to?
Not for me. I'm just saying. I'm not suggesting anybody right now. I'm just saying that's something to consider.
Listen, that's good to know. Can we talk afterwards? Can we?
I'm just asking if he's even single.
Wait, actually,
are you single? That's the first question.
Yes, actually, no. Unfortunately, I'm in a relationship.
Exactly.
Okay. I was just trying for my Nigerian sisters out there.
I sent you a message like, ask him.
I'm not going to tell you.
All right. I love the fact you brought up collaboration, which is actually a big deal. Like, I feel like for you guys based abroad, in the UK, in America, collaborating with Nigerian, artists, or should I say movie producers, is quite easy for you. But I've not seen that translate, like talking about those coming from Africa, trying to collaborate with those abroad. What do you think can be done to bridge that gap? That's number one. Like, I mean, you take a look at music. I've seen how the growth of music has been, like Afrobeats.
It's very
easy for Rema as a likes, David to actually collaborate, like, top artists out there. We've not seen that. Then also, I want to talk about the success of sitcoms. I feel like in Nigeria, we don't have a lot of, powerful sitcoms.
That's true.
What do you think is the reason why that is lacking? even down to series. We're trying in series, but sitcoms is a major, part of it that we're not doing so well.
I think, to answer to your first question, I think it's us re-educating ourselves, and not having that divided mentality. Do you know what I'm saying? I think we need to just, get out of everybody working within a silo. And no matter what part of Africa you're from, just reach out. You can reach out to each other. Yeah, everybody's online now. Do you know what I mean? If you're the top documentary person in Kenya and I'm a writer or producer in Nigeria, there's no reason why we can't get in contact and have a conversation. And I think it starts with just the mindset, And I feel like it's a united, Africa sort of like having that lens through everything and not feeling like it's a competition against each other, How can we uplift each other and come together? Because that makes us more powerful and that brings out the best work. And I think sitcoms are so tricky. The only place I feel like sitcoms are still surviving at high level is in the US, really, True. And even them, they're like, it's 50-50. I think it's down to the writing. I think we need writers to really study those big sitcoms. When you look at something like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Friends, Frasier. If you put this on now, not why we're doing this interview, but if you put this on now, we will be laughing at this now. And we're talking about something made in the 90s. It still holds up. So I think it's a sense of, doing the work and maybe collaborating with some of those kings and queens that made those shows, and that again is about the global cross connection of like, listen.
Or is it like it's not just our thing? Let's just let it be.
You know what? I don't like to limit us, right? Because it might not be our thing. We had
some really good sitcoms in the 90s.
Yeah, in the past, but now it's like it's.
Yeah.
It's just watered down for some reason. But I like that conversation around it. Time flies, man. I know that you have to be somewhere else after this press interviews. Any final thoughts? Is there anything that you I guess you feel very strongly in your spirit that you'd like to share with us before we wrap up?
The final thoughts is that there's two things. One, this documentary I'm doing is called Mission Motherland. So it really does take people back to their motherlands, whether they're from Jamaica, Ghana, and my part is the Nigeria part. But aside from that, I've decided that I'm gonna try and make a TV show here
Yeah.
in Nigeria.
Yeah.
You know,
Heard it here first.
No,
Any big names?
no. I can't say
Can't say
anything
yet.
right yet. I can't say anything yet. But it's gonna take time. But I've decided I really want to do it, and through that lens of almost. That mirrors my journey being out in Nigeria now, but what does that look like in a comedy drama sense, you know? And there's a novel that we've got the rights to, so watch this space, because I want to be able to come back again and talk to you more about it.
Definitely.
You know?
By the time it's out and about, don't forget to stop by Arise 360.
Since you asked about your relationship, are you dating or in a
Married?
relationship with a Nigerian? Or? I know what I'm asking, just yes or no. I know what I'm asking first. Yes or no? Don't even tell me your name, just yes or no.
I've gone a bit east. I've gone a bit East Africa.
East Africa.
That's what I can say.
I was gonna say you come back for traditional marriage, like I'm there.
But now I'm learning I can have a few more wives. No.
I mean, hey, this is what
somebody
I'm talking
just
about.
told me, so.
This is what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Are you sure you're in for the drama?
Are you talking from experience?
No.
Okay.
I mean, what we read online.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much. This has been such a fantastic interview. I really hope you enjoyed the rest of your time in Nigeria, and you know that our arms are always open to welcome you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being
supporting.
here.